Good day, everyone. We are the Group 7, and we will going to discuss with you the world of nonfiction. And for the previous meetings, we've tackled a number of categories of literature, and that includes poetry, the poetry of picture books, traditional literature, modern fantasy, modern fables, and realistic fictions. And for the learning objectives, at the end of the discussion, the pre-service educators will be able to differentiate the various types of nonfiction, genres, and historical background, assimilate the importance of nonfiction, and appreciate its significance in promoting literacy skills, both as educators and as learners through sharing their experiences, and construct a well-structured essay reflecting on the critical role of nonfiction in their future careers. So before anything else, I would like to ask this question. When you hear the word nonfiction, what does it sound like to you? I know for sure that when you hear the word nonfiction, there is already a word or a description maybe in your designated thoughts about what is nonfiction. And I want you to answer that in yourselves. And now, what is the meaning of nonfiction? So the word nonfiction essentially means not fiction or not false. From the prefix word non, it means not, and fiction, it means false. By definition, then, nonfiction implies a certain level of truth or authenticity. This typically generally results in people holding nonfiction to a higher standard than fiction. So, a few facts thrown into a work of fiction do not make it true, whereas a few fabrications in a work of nonfiction will completely obliterate or destroy its credibility. That means that adding a few true details to a fictional story does not make the entire story true. On the other hand, nonfiction aims to present real information and expected to be grounded in truth and accuracy. Any intentional falsehoods or inaccuracies in nonfiction work undermine its trustworthiness and make it unreliable as a source of information. So let's go with similarities between the two. So they can both contain characters, setting, and a plot. Both types of writing can contain elements of truth or real people, places, and events. So despite these similarities, it's important to remember that the key difference between the two is that fiction is created from the imagination, while nonfiction is based on facts and reality. So I want to ask you with this question. If some of the details in the book of nonfiction isn't accurate and truth, does it mean it's no longer nonfiction? Okay, answer that to yourselves, no? Always remember that nonfiction is expected to provide readers with accurate and factual information about real people, events, and ideas. It is meant to inform and educate readers based on the premise that the content is truthful and reliable. So, however, when an author intentionally includes falsehoods or inaccuracies in the work of nonfiction, it goes against the fundamental purpose of nonfiction, which is to provide a real information and a factual story. So readers may question the reliability of the information presented and may be misinformed as a result. So is nonfiction a genre? Nonfiction is a broad genre of writing that encompasses all books that aren't rooted in a fictional narrative. Nonfiction writing can be based in history and biography. It can be instructional, it can offer commentary and humor, and it can ponder philosophical questions like, for example, what is the nature of reality? What is the meaning of life? It provokes deep thought and discussion and has been the subject of countless books, essays, and debates throughout history. So now let's go for the characteristics of nonfiction. So, nonfiction deals only with real people, events, or ideas. It is narrated or told from author's perspective or point of view. When we say nonfiction is narrated or told from the author's perspective or point of view, it means that the author is sharing their own personal experiences, insights, and interpretations of the subject matter. Nonfiction writing often reflects the author's unique perspectives and voice. Unlike fiction, where authors create characters and imaginary worlds, nonfiction is rooted in reality. So, the author's perspective in nonfiction can influence the tone, style, and overall presentation of the material. It allows the readers to gain insight into the author's thoughts, opinions, and biases, which can shape the way the information is conveyed. However, it is very important to note that in nonfiction, authors are expected to maintain a level of objectivity and provide accurate and well supported information, even if their perspective is present. So, nonfiction has a tone that reflects the writer's attitude toward the subject. Nonfiction reflects a writer's purpose, reason for writing. This might be to explain, persuade, inform, or entertain. So, important matters in learning nonfiction. Always remember that the main purpose of nonfiction writing is to convey factual information, educate, inform, or persuade readers about the real people, events, or ideas. Now, how can we evaluate the credibility and reliability of nonfiction sources? It involves considering the author's expertise, reputation, evidence provided, and cross referencing with other reliable sources. So, I have a question here. In writing nonfiction, does it need to have references indicated in the book all the time? Okay, the main reason why we cite references, it's because the source, every time we incorporate research, words, ideas, data, or information that is not our own, right? So, like for instance, diaries and autobiographies. It recounts real life events, experiences, and reflections of the author. So it doesn't need to have a references because it is your personal information. It is the reflections of author experiences and observation of the world around them. So let's go with a brief history of nonfiction. So the earliest works of nonfiction can be traced back to ancient Bronze Age civilizations. By 740 BC, ancient Akkadian literature was already producing the Babylonian Chronicles, a history of the lives of kings, philosophers, and the workings of the empire. So now, do you have any idea who discovered nonfiction? It was said that Truman Capote is said to have invented the nonfiction genre with his 1959 novel In Cold Blood, which is about a true crime novel, the murder of a rural Kansas family. So always remember, as a future educators, always seek sources, or if you going to give learning materials to your future students, always seek for its credibility and sources that cannot harm your students, no, cannot lead misinformations. I think that's it. Now for the types of nonfiction will be discussed by Miss Ashley. Thank you and God bless.